Greetings. Hello. Welcome. Have a seat. Oi then, it's your girl Rachel, and you have picked a cracking night to join us for this edition of the DX Party. We are officially at the penultimate episode of Season 6. Don't go grabbing your dictionaries. That just means next week is the big season finale of DX Central Live. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves tonight, we are proper vibing because we've got some possible tropo on the horizon and the magic of the E-Clouds just around the corner. Let's get this edition of the show moving with Night's Thin Ribbon. This is the final call for the FM Bandscan Challenge. Get those logs in tonight, because once we hit hour 2, it will be all over. Well, sort of. The weekly challenges will be wrapping up, but next week we are shifting gears into something massive for the summer of DX. Stay tuned, because this summer is going to be one you absolutely do not want to miss. Let's cue up the next one. This is called The Great Escape, and it is for everyone who's ever found themselves escaping into the comfort of the static. I reckon that is just about all of us. Wouldn't you agree? chatting with Lloyd earlier. And one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight are things that go bump in the night or even often early mornings. Things like meteor, scatter. Yes, you really can DX meteors on the FM band. It's not just science fiction. It's not too short. Well, sometimes it is. It's science. Fun. Plus, we're diving into RDS, how it can help your DX and why you might sometimes see strange things on your decode readout. This next one taps into that energy we had back in the 90s, that DIY mentality, that lo-fi mentality, that fine, I will do it myself mentality. Let's get locked in on the terminal block.
Check 1, 2, soldering iron in a cold room, winding the wire around the core. I don't need the neighbors anymore. Coax cable snaking down the hall, 5-element Yagi leaning on the wall. The gain is up, the noise is low. I'm waiting for the ionosphere to show. Is it in? Is it out? What's the signal all about? Stop! It's a bounce. It's a bounce off the E-layer clouds. Turn the audio up, make it way too loud. Caught the ID right through the hiss. It doesn't get any better than this. The SDR is glowing blue. I'm seeing things that you never do. A distant call from a desert town before the fade taps it back down. It's a bounce off the E-layer clouds. Turn the audio up, make it way too loud. Caught the ID right through the hiss. It doesn't get any better than this. LNA, LNA on the line. BNC, BNC looking fine. Terminal block, tight in the screw. Wait for the skip. Check.
Quick confession from the boss. Lloyd realised he missed a massive new feature during his discussion on FM List last week. Hey! So tonight, he's making it right. Showing off a brilliant new tool for log analysis that you are going to love. The party keeps rocking and rolling and sometimes sounding like it is stumbling down a hill. With that idea in mind, here is the glass canopy.
Clouds are ionized, a silver flash reflected in my eyes. It shouldn't be there. dancing to the beat. It's sporadic, it's a fleeting ghost. From the islands to the northern coast, the path is open, the skip is high, a mirror finish on a summer sky. Oh, the E is open and the world is wide. Catch the silver wave and take a ride. 1,000 miles in a blink of an eye, under the glass canopy of the sky. Is it fading? Is it fading? Hold the carrier, hold the carrier, break the barrier. Oh, the E is open and the world is wide. Catch the silver wave and take a ride. 1,000 miles in a blink of an eye, under the glass canopy of the sky. The E is open, sporadic. The E is open.
Can you feel it? The season finale is just 7 days away. We'll be looking at all the stats from season 5 of the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge next week. It's a proper deep dive before we unleash the Summer of DX Challenge. I am told that next week's show is going to have a theme straight out of Lloyd's college days. After I initially got over the shock that he was able to actually remember those days, it seemed only fitting that next week we're doing pre-game party for the sporadic E season. It is sure to be a proper festive atmosphere. And so is our final track that I will play tonight before handing over the controls to everyone's favourite ground rod, Mark Monroe. This one is a banger called Frequency Love.
DX.
That is me done for the night here in Studio B. So, but do not wander off, because the countdown is about to begin. Yeah, with our mate, the lovable, squeezable, the more than capable Mark Monroe. A massive thank you to our sponsors for keeping the signals on the wire. The International Radio Club of America at ircaonline.org, the National Radio Club at nationalradioclub.org, and the Spectrum Monitor magazine at thespectrummonitor.com. And of course, a huge shout to our legends in Studio C, our patrons, who make everything we do possible. They have been enjoying our new sporadic e-dashboard for a few weeks and are going to have the inside track on all things Summer of DX Challenge. So you might as well join them at patreon.com/DXCentral so that you too can have the upper hand in all of the little goodies we have planned for the summer. Coming up next, he is the reason mothers all across the land told their daughters not to fall in love with a radio man. He is Mark Monroe, and he is here to bring you some more great tunes with the 10-minute countdown. I think he's wearing a Wings tour shirt that is older than most of our receivers. See you on the other side for one more ride next week.
Good evening, this is Mark Monroe, and we are officially 10 minutes from the start of DX Central Live regarding the shirt. It is not simply an artifact. It is a high thread count piece of musical history, and it is perfectly broken in. As for being squeezable, I shall have to check the station's employee handbook regarding appropriate workplace descriptions. We have a significant evening ahead, and including a look at how to use other bands to spot FM openings and a final checklist for your sporadic E preparations. We begin the countdown tonight with band surfing.
No frequency. Coming with the boom, I'm spinning around the dial. Searching for the wind, waiting to the top of hour. Watch the fun begin from the low end to the high end. From the east coast to the west end. When that signal hits the wire, man, it's purely fire. I'm band surfing, yeah. I'm way working, yeah. Left to the right, watch the signal catch a flight. I'm band surfing, yeah. I'm way working. Turn the gain up high, touch the wires to the sky. Check the S meter, watch the needle dance. Capture data loose, so one didn't leave it up to chance. The skip is rolling in like a wave across the sea. From 1,000 miles away, coming straight to me. I'm band surfing, yeah. I'm way working, yeah. Left to the right, watch the signal catch a flight. I'm band surfing, yeah. I'm way working. Turn the gain up high, touch the wires to the sky. When I say DX, you say Central. DX. DX. Now lean with the fade. Lean. Rock with the wave. Rock. We serve it all night long. We work it in the zone. Keep the dial spinning in the air. We always winning in
The forecast for next week is showing at minimum the possibility of significant tropo for some, particularly along the western half of the Gulf. It may be the first real opening of the year for some of you. And tonight, Lloyd will explain how to be ready, come what may. Get it? May want to make sure you have the kiddies tucked in because we are jumping straight into the flare.
The sun is screaming, the sky is red. Forget the things the experts said. The K-index is climbing high. There's a fire in the northern sky. You can climb a mountain, you can sail the sea, but you can't escape the frequency. Jump into the flare. Jump into the flare. Into the flare. The bands are closed, then they open wide.
Next week, we're bringing it all home as we conclude Season 6 and launch the Summer of DX Challenge. Tonight, we close the books on the FM Bandscan, our weekly challenge series, the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge. 5 seasons are now in the books, can you believe it? Let's keep the pace going with our final track, The Noise Floor Blues.
I'm a soldier in the war of the waves. Got a loop on the roof and a soul to save. The city is screaming, it's a neon light show. But I'm looking for a place where the low power go. I need a window in the static. Window in the static. Something pure and cinematic. Pure and cinematic. The signal through the mud. It's in my wires, it's in my blood. Plasma screens and the LED glow, they're choking the dial, they're killing the show. I'm tuning through the trash, the RFI is deep, while the rest of the world is falling fast asleep. I see the peak on the SDR screen, the cleanest little carrier that I've ever seen. I need a window in the static. Window in the static. Something pure and cinematic. Pure and cinematic. Pull the signal through the mud. It's in my wires, it's in my blood. Is it there? Is it there? Under the hum. Under the hum. Here it comes. Is it there? Is it there? Under the hum. Here it comes.
Will do it as we head now to Studio A, where Lloyd is standing by and ready to start the show. But right after a word from our sponsors.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by
The International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Can't get enough DX? Then the DX Central from the Static podcast is for you. Take DX Central on the go and listen to episodes from DX Central Live, interviews with prominent members of the DX community, tips, tricks, how-tos, your DX memories and stories. And that's just the start. You can find the From the Static podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, or anywhere you get podcasts, or by visiting FromTheStatic.net. That's FromTheStatic.net. For stories, signals, and voices from across the airwaves, don't miss the DX Central From the Static podcast.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Gary, did you see this memo? The one from Lloyd about the renovations? Hold on, I'll read it to you. Attention North Shore Studios and DX Radio staff. Please be advised that starting May 2nd, we will begin our biannual technical optimization and deep cleaning initiative. Wait, May 2nd? Lloyd, that's next week. That is the literal dawn of the sporadic E season. Are we seriously going to be... During this transition, all feed lines will be rerouted and the SDR rack will be... emptied. Doesn't Lloyd know a disconnected SDR receives no signals? And didn't we just do this? I'm still finding labels and clipped zip tie ends on the floor from 2024. Gary, why are you already holding a broom and a screwdriver? Put that down. We have a whole other week of DX-themed synthwave to play before you can start destroying my workspace. What? No, you can't have my chair. Here at DX Radio, we're making room for a new season of chaos and copper wire from the sound of it. I'm being asked to move my own desk so we can wash the walls. My mother was right. I should have been a dentist. Do you think a dentist has to... What, Gary? Why are you looking at me like that? I already have hair on my chest, Gary. I hardly see how moving furniture and cleaning out filing cabinets is going to... DX Radio, now with 50% fewer, dust bunnies. Gary, if you don't put down my blender and back away slowly, I'm going to have Lloyd use your rear end as a dummy load on his 6-meter rig. That's what I use for Margarita Thursdays. Yes, I use it every day of the week. What is your point? And put that vacuum cleaner away. We don't even have carpet in here. Don't worry. Cheeto dust will come up just as easily with a broom and a dustpan.
It's a Friday night. Lloyd in the North Shore, setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning in the static, chasing down the sounds. Every single signal is magic we have found. All radios hum, the chatters all agree. DX Central Live is the place to be. Folks in the chat, shout out your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the magic of the night, where frequencies rise. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
From the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana, where we bring you DX Central Live, Season 6, Episode number 29, here in Studio A for the next to last time in Season 6. Next week's it. That's it. Done with Season 6. And then we're taking the summer off. Well, I say taking the summer off, but we'll be very occupado for the summertime. Oh, we've got some more stuff to get you this evening here for our FMDX Preparedness Month, the month of April, winding down, so we're getting ready to wind that down. We'll be kind of doing the final little touches here and there and talking about what to expect next week for our big pregame party, the Sporadic-y pregame party. That's what we're doing next week. So we'll talk about that. It's actually, believe it or not, it's Oakland. Yes, Oakland. I said Oakland because it is the Oakland A's. Always will be. You can't. You can take them out of Oakland, but they're still the Oakland A's. That's my team that I grew up with. I'm not a fan of the Sacramento, Las Vegas, whatever they're calling the A's these days. That's not my team. My team is the Oakland A's. And so until they do right and bring them back or whatever, I don't know. You know what? Just put a different team. Put an expansion team in Vegas. If you want a team in Vegas that bad, put an expansion team there. And let the A's stay in Oakland. The reason that they were the attendance was down was because the owners were shipping out all the good players to specifically tank to be able to say, see, no one's coming. Well, yeah, because every time we buy a jersey, in like 3 weeks, the guy's gone. No one's coming to those games. I'm getting off topic here. Tonight, we got some great stuff to talk about. Of course, we have your shout-outs to get to, as we always do. You can get your shout-outs in at dxchallenges.com/dxchallenges.com/shoutout. That's what I was looking for. As far as our topics, though, for tonight, I'm sorry, I got a dog distracting me very, very much right now. She's, like, whining at me. Because I have this deal. Once she knows the live stream is going, she can tell by the music, she can tell by me talking. Once she knows the live stream is going, the dog wants her little treat thing to keep her occupied while I'm busy. And I didn't have a chance to do that tonight, so now she's like, come on, dude. We have a deal. So tonight our topics are going to be, we're going to talk about, I meant to do this last week, but we just ran out of time. We're going to talk about using other bands to help you spot the potential or maybe early warning system for openings on FM. So whether it's sporadic E and you're using 6 meters as an early warning system, there's some pros and cons that go with that, some things you have to kind of keep in mind. It's not a foolproof. None of these are foolproof. And then on Tropo, actually using NOAA weather radio and 2 meters as early warnings. And where you can, how to do that. Like, how do you do that? How do you actually use those bands and what's happening on those bands to help you? So we'll talk about that. We're going to also talk about some last-minute preparations you need to wrap up now. If you haven't done them yet, you got to get them done as we get ready for May. I'm behind, and we have our big, you heard it in the intro there, our big biannual take everything out of the shack. She's really, and she's like, come on! Take everything out of the shack and then put everything back in after we do a deep clean and rerouting feed lines and making some little improvements here and there and things like that, rearranging some stuff that I'm like, okay, this looked good in concept, but how I have this laid out, I want to change this and change that. So that's my big final push that I have to do for FM season. But we'll talk about some of the things you guys might be doing as well to kind of get you ready. The tropo forecast next week looks pretty good for some of us. So we're going to talk a bit about that, especially on the western half of the Gulf of Mexico over by Texas down into Mexico. Looking pretty nice down that way. Some colors in the tropo forecast we haven't seen yet this season, at least in that scale. So we'll talk about that. I saw a social media post. Somebody was talking about our friend Pixel up there in Bristol and his auto logger that he has and all the meteor scatter that he's getting. And they were like, what's this? You know, what kind of antenna is this person using to get all this kind of stuff? And, you know, no one else is reporting any E, so this can't be E. What's going on? And I was like, it's meteor scatter. And some other DXers came back and said, no, it can't be meteor scatter. It's too fast. You can't, you know, it's just a quick blip. You can't get meteor scatter like that. Oh, you can. So we're going to talk about that, especially because by the time you see us again, the Perseus meteor shower, the big one of the year, will have already ended. And so I want you to be prepared when late July into August rolls around, because the Perseus, that's the big time. We're coming out of tropo season into E-skip season, and then you come out of E-skip season, you're right into the biggest meteor shower of the year. So we'll make sure you're ready for that. And finally, if we have some time, if not, we'll save it for next week. RDS. What is RDS? What is it? How does it help you? When can it go kind of a little wrong? When can it go really, really right? So we're going to talk about that as well. Yeah, dogs definitely have their routines, Jacob. You are correct, because this one is like, you're talking into the microphone. That means I should be getting my thing. And so she's sitting here at my feet right now like, dude, just come on. So that's what we're planning for tonight. And I did have one other thing I wanted to kind of squeeze in here as well, in addition to your shout-outs. Last week when I did my talk about FM List, I neglected and forgot to talk about one of the biggest new features that they actually have available at FM List that I am absolutely in love with. And so we're going to look at that tonight as a way that you guys can help analyze your logbook, your FM List logs. Another reason that FM List is a very, very good resource to use. They're giving us more features that we can use to help us be better DXers. So we're going to talk about that logbook analyzer that they have available at FM List. It's super easy to use. Uses their data. You download your data, upload the data into their analyzer, and it spits it all out for you. It's amazing. So we're going to talk about that tonight as well. Of course, we have some DX we want to get to. Now, it's a little early here in the evening for us to do much on the AM side of things. Still pretty noisy, pretty bright outside. But we can get to some FM. And so we're going to do some more of our FM band scan challenge. We wrap it up here this hour. So we'll bounce around on the FM dial a little bit and see what we can hear with our shortwave central FMDX web server and our regular FMDX web servers that we have here at DX Central as well. So this DX session is brought to you by the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com. That's the website for more information if you want to get yourself a subscription. I think the subscription amount just went up a couple bucks from what it had been for 12 months. So, just keep that in mind. But, yeah, we'll go to thespectrummonitor.com. Just had a great brand new issue just came out. The May issue just came out. And our editor, Ken Reitz, a couple months ago, had posed the question to the writers, hey, if you're a ham radio operator, DX or whatever, what do we need to do for the future of ham radio? How do you train your replacement to get more people into the hobby, younger people into the hobby? And so it's a fantastic article, lots of great insight from all the writers. I had my bit that I talked about. I talked about you guys, our community, our live stream community, interacting with you guys. So we talk about that in there. So go to thespectrummonitor.com and pick it up. It's super, super cost effective for a whole year. It's like $26. And you get not just, a couple articles here. It's like all this. It is the entire spectrum. Like we cover the entire spectrum in the Spectrum Monitor. So, all right, let's look at a little DX. I'm gonna get this going here. And David says he just subscribed. Awesome, man. Awesome. Let's do some checking here on the band. I'm gonna start us off here really quick, and then I'm gonna go get this dog her thing, and then I'll come back and we'll start bouncing around a little bit here on the band. But we're gonna start us off. Let me go up somewhere here where I know I'm not going to get in trouble from a RDS standpoint. I know, dog. I know. 105.3 www. Jeez. Oh, let's put that. Why it's oh, there we go. There you go. All right, be right back.
New Orleans doctors and nurses that treat you like family. LCMC Health, LCMC Health. They got 8 New Orleans hospitals, keeping you well. Keeping you well. LCMC Health, 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 LCMC.
It's my favorite season of the year, crawfish season. The Rouse's Market Bowling Crew is bowling Louisiana crawfish
All right, we're back.
daily, 11 to 7.
Let's do some scanning here around the FM band. I'm going to pull up my...
Down the Bayou seafood mix, seasoned with just the
do
right amount
this.
of lemon, onion, garlic, and heat. So they can
We got Jazz Fest going on right now. You guys, if you're a fan of New Orleans music, jazz music, things along those lines, I highly, highly recommend that you go up to either one of our FMDX web servers and park it on 90.7 if people are not DXing. Or, even better, if you're there listening for content, probably a better idea is just go to wwoz.com. I think it's their website. They do live from Jazz Fest. And right now it's Jazz Fest here in New Orleans. A very, 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 very popular time of the year for folks to come here. The weather isn't crazy hot yet. The music is fantastic. It happens over the span of 2 weekends. They've priced regular folks out of this one, so I don't actually get to go.
2026 New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival.
There you go. But yeah, it's they have a tent, a stage there at Jazz Fest. WWOZ does. They do a lot of interviews. We all bemoan the fact that there's not a lot of local content on the radio anymore. Well, guess what? This is local content, y'all. So.
DX Central Live top of the hour alert.
All right, so now we're looking on our FM band here. Let's see what we can find where I have not yet done anything on my band. 89.3. I think we checked this last week briefly.
You're listening to 89.3 WRKF Baton Rouge.
A few showers or thunderstorms possible for the overnight hours. Low pressure is over the southern and central plains and drifting our way. We've got a fairly good chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. Most of those will be in the afternoon. We'll be in the upper 80s. Just some clouds on Saturday night and our low in the upper 60s. Sunday looks pretty good. A mix of sun and clouds. We're in the upper 80s on the high. Slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm.
Berg's Kaddish Symphony honors the victims of the Warsaw Ghetto. Plus, pianist Beatrice Arana plays Ravel's Concerto in G. I'm Steve Seal. That's next time on APM's SymphonyCast.
The Bridge. It's a chance to take your song from good to great. The human ear likes repetition, but only so much that it needs a break.
Where was I at on the signal here?
Indians? Spy Boy Horace Anderson and Big Chief Louis Robert review the successes of Super Sunday and St. Joseph's Night. Then they tell us where to catch them parading during Jazz Fest. That's coming up.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Herbst.
And then 89.5 is our local here in Covington.
It's coming up.
Joe, if you're watching, this is up your neck of the woods. And what kind of bugs me about it, so
from a human being standpoint, I applaud it because they put this classical radio station up at a retirement home here in the Covington area, and so that the residents would have some good music to listen to or whatever. So as a human being, I applaud. I think it's fantastic. As a DXer, though, I have to say, not happy because I lost my most productive frequency when they did this, and the fact that we already have this same exact station on 104.9. It's exactly the same thing on 104.9, and yes, we can hear 104.9 here on the North Shore. So I don't know, but I'm not gonna whine about it too much because it is helpful for folks to have the good music. So there you go. 89.7. Nothing. Now, is this an open frequency? I know it's not because
NATO clarified there is no way a member country can be suspended or kicked out of the alliance. For NPR News, I'm Terry Schultz in Brussels.
The Pentagon says the Defense
because
Department
it's
will
the
see to it that
HD
Trump has
sideband here on 89.7 is HD sideband of my local WWNO here in New Orleans, which is that WWNO that we just that we're on here. One of their HD sidebands is that. That is a WWNO HD sideband right there. So all of it's kind of linked together there, I guess. Let me go back to 89.9. 89.9. There we go. Negative 45 dBm. That's a pretty strong signal. That's a difficult one to get rid of or null out with any kind of turning of the rotor or of diversity or phasing or co-channel canceller. It's a tough one to get rid of, and I don't think I have anything on this frequency other than this station. No openings have come in, Tropo or otherwise, to overtake it, so that's a tough one. And then the same thing here on 90.1. Now, I do have some stuff on this frequency, but it takes a little bit of something to get rid of the HD here on 89 or 89.7 and 90.1. Then we go to 90.3. Now we have Mississippi coming in. And I'm going to go ahead here and just put in Mississippi into my filters. And this is to be MAH. I'm just logging my stuff here for the band scan, which we're going to look at that here in a few moments. We did have a question from our friend Stephanie, who'll be watching on the replay, about exporting out our band scan so that we have this kind of system of record of what we have received during our band scan and being able to have that to use throughout the season. So absolutely, yes, you can. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that here in just a bit. I just want to make sure I can accumulate some stations into the logbook here that we can have to export out. 90.5 is HD sideband from WWNO. My absolute favorite station here in New Orleans. Love these guys. If you like the content you hear on there, I highly recommend that you do a donation to them, because with some of the cuts from the government as far as public broadcasting goes that they relied heavily on, they are definitely needing some help with cash flow and donations from their listeners. So if you're a fan of the music on WWOZ, if you can start listening to them, highly recommend that you join me in doing a donation. So 90.9, another HD sideband for them. 91.1, we're just going to do the non-commercial portion of the band here. This is WRNV. This is a local, it's a Spanish station, but it's local here. Religious station out of Norco, Louisiana, which is just to my southwest across the lake. I'm going to make sure I can get this whole non-commercial portion of the band done. And then we'll continue on from there later on. 91.3, this is another local-ish station here. in the New Orleans area. We have the NLS out of Slidell. And no RDSD code on that one, and negative 62.1. We're going to look tonight at some of the stations. I've been doing my, trying to work on finishing up my recording review from the August 13th, 2025 sporadic E-opening that we had here. That was our biggest opening of the year. And so I've been working through that recording and getting some new stuff into the logbook. So we're going to look at that here as well later on tonight and talk about some of the cool catches that we got, including one that our AMDX folks that spend time on the AM side of things, they're going to really appreciate this log that I was able to get last night, actually. WTUL out of Tulane University here on 91.5. Campus radio. Real solid campus radio, too. Not going the way of trying to make money here. They actually just do the eclectic college radio thing, which I love. 91.7, we have American Family Radio here out of Gulfport, Mississippi. So we go back to Mississippi on my filters. And we're going to do this as 91.7. This is Gulfport to be AOY, American Family Radio. And they're at negative 78. And yes on the RDS. And then we go to 91.9, and guess what? It's also American Family Radio. Back to Louisiana we go here for this one. This is out of Buras, down to my south. KMRL is the calls on that one. Negative 70.3. And yes on the RDS on that one as well. There we go. All right, so that is the entire non-commercial portion of the band from basically 89.3 up. We've already done the other ones before that on another edition of the show. So now if I refresh our leaderboard here in my version of Looker Studio. Bandscan. There it is. Go ahead and refresh my data. And look here at my progress. There we go. I didn't have anything on these HD sidebands yet because those are ones I need to log as HD sidebands, but now we've got all the lower half of the band, non-commercial portion of the band done, and I got to go do the rest of the band. So did not have a lot of time to work on that over the last couple of weeks, unfortunately. So all right, let's do a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to start talking about using other bands. 6 meters to help you with eSkip, 2 meters and no weather radio to help you with Tropo rather on the FM bands, and some pitfalls you may want to keep in mind. Some things that it's not foolproof, it's not bulletproof, right? It's not like a slam dunk. Like if I'm seeing this, that means I got to have this. No. Not always. So we're going to talk about that and how you can use it, what it can be helpful for as we kind of get into this hour, as well as some of those other little things we talked about, the FM list, log analyzer, and so forth. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live is heading your way right after, this.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. The International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Can't get enough DX? Then the DX Central from the Static podcast is for you. Take DX Central on the go and listen to episodes from DX Central Live, interviews with prominent members of the DX community, tips, tricks, how-tos, your DX memories and stories. And that's just the start. You can find the From the Static podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, or anywhere you get podcasts, or by visiting FromTheStatic.net. That's FromTheStatic.net. For stories, signals, and voices from across the airwaves, don't miss the DX Central From the Static podcast.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
At 5:15, the MUF is climbing on the screen. From 88 to Hendo 8, the irons just refuse to wait. I'm stuck behind a minivan. Does she not know the state of the band? Move it later, the skip is in. I'm losing signals to the solo wind. The red line, racing the fade, the best opening that the cycle ever made. I need 5 more minutes to get to the door before the signal drops back to the floor. Don't you fade on me. Don't you fade on me now. Red light. Green light. I'm doing 90 in a 30 zone. Wishing I was behind the dial at home. The Florida panhandle is booming and loud. Reflecting off and not a nice cloud. My hard drive is empty. My recorder is off. I'm gonna lose the ID from the station in the draw. Keys in the hand. Sweat on the brow. The laws of physics are against me now. Red line. Racing the fade. The best opening that the cycle ever made. I need 5 more minutes to get to the door before the signal drops back to the floor. Don't you fade on me. Don't you
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. I just realized my lights are still on. There we go. That one. I never did turn off the red. Now we're back to blue. Man, I love this song. We are bringing you, we have live DX. We talk about DX tips and tricks. We do challenges, all kinds of fun stuff here on DX Central Live. So we're glad that you're here with us. We only have one more week left in this season, season 6. And then starting next week, after next week is complete, we'll be on a hiatus until the fall. And then we'll resume for season 7. And I have no idea, no idea how to take what we've been doing and elevate it from here. So that'll be the next thing, all right, is figuring out what to do for season 7. We try to incrementally every season, I try to bring it up another layer, another step of the ladder. And I have no idea for season 7 what to do. So we'll figure it out. Let's do some shout outs. All right. We've got a handful of shout-outs in already. You can get yours in, dxchallenges.com/shoutout. Send yours in. A lot of our talk, obviously, is around... But if you've been doing any AMDX, we want to hear about that, too. AMDX, Weather DX, ham radio, TV DX, shortwave, whatever. If you've been doing some DX, if you've been taking some time off and maybe spending some time away from the dials, maybe you've been doing some work around the shack, like we'll be doing starting next week, doing our renovations and our redo here in the shack. I don't think it's going to be too much of a redo. I think it's going to be mostly just like I want to change the location of that camera. I want to change the location here of camera 2. And I want to figure out a way to make that more backed up so you see a bigger section of the room. I want to move this microphone. I've already got the microphone stand. I want to put it like over here so it's like more like right here looking up at me, right? And I want to do something with the lights. The lights, I don't like where the lights are at. So we got some work to do to make this more productive. I did this version of the shack more. I focused first on DX with the YouTube stuff kind of thrown in. This one I think I might try to focus on the YouTube studio first and then put the DX kind of around it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, let's start with our shout outs. First, we have our friend Dave in Montana. Dave checking in here. There's one of the reasons we're replacing this microphone stand. There we go. I turned my 15x50 Super Loop from the south at 160 degrees to the east at 90 degrees. So we're starting right off with AM. Managed to log 17 new stations, mostly in that direction at east. Mostly to Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, South Dakota, Wisconsin, and even one in Ohio, 1530 WCKY in Cincinnati. By the way, did you hear? They're actually putting in WKRP in Cincinnati. I have half a mind. Oh, I'm sure if they don't do it like vintage radio, if they I almost said something bad about I don't know if my NDA is up yet. If they do the corporate radio thing and just pipe in content on WKRP in Cincinnati, we riot. That better be locally programmed, old school, vintage radio. It doesn't have to be classic rock or whatever. I mean, that's fine. AOR would be nice. But even if it's current stuff, make it vintage radio. Show that can still be a viable option. I digress. My best log was actually to the southeast, though. At 0301 UTC on April 17th, I logged 800 kilohertz Transworld Radio in Bonaire, Netherlands, Antilles. Nice. They were running a religious program in Spanish. Signal was fair. That then set a new distance record for me at 3,307 miles. I figured out that sometimes I have to trust the theory and stick some wire in the air and see what happens. That is so accurate. It's accurate for all DX, but especially on AM. Because let me put it this way. You'll hear a lot of ham radio operators, myself included, that we talk about making sure we have an antenna that's resonant for the band, right? You're talking about a quarter wave dipole or a quarter wave vertical or a full wavelength or a half wave or a 5/8 or whatever it might need to be. I promise you, unless you have the room to put up a beverage, you're not getting anywhere near a wavelength or a quarter wavelength or half wavelength on AM. Not that's going to cover the entire band from top to bottom, okay? Maybe the top half, you might get close, but the bottom half, you need some real estate to even have a quarter of a wave on AM. So with our DX adventures that we do on the AM band, it really is just put the wire up and see what happens, and then adjust from there. And there are certain designs that do work really well. These terminated loops work really, really well. Super loops, flags, CASs, DCASs, they work really, really well. The low noise verticals work really, really well. You need some extra stuff to go with those. Like if it's a terminated loop, you need a terminating resistor. If it's with all of these, you probably need some sort of transformer to match the impedance of the antenna to the feed line. So you'll have to have some of that kind of going in. So you need to, have some design knowledge in there about that, which we try to help share that here at DX Central Live and DX Central. That's one of the reasons that we do what we do. But at the end of the day, if it's not, I would like to get up to like 80 feet. Well, you know what? 80 feet would be great if we had the room, but we don't have the room. And so like my West CAS that I have up right now, I'd love to have a 70-foot, 25 by 72-foot CAS in the western direction to match what I have on my the shortwave central one that we have over here pointing down to the south. I'd love to match that, but we don't have that much real. I'm 20 feet short, so I have a 25 by 50, and that's what we have. And we'll work with that and do the best we can. Maybe it'll produce some good results, maybe it won't, but we're going to keep trying. So I applaud you, Dave, for doing that. For, let's just put the wire up in the air and see how it does. And just try it out. I know Barry's been doing that with some of his antenna stuff and seeing good results. So, I encourage all of you, experiment, try stuff out. We're here to help as a guide. We have some videos that can help out with that kind of stuff as well. So he also includes a air check here of Trans World Radio Bonaire. All right, there you go. One of the best times, if you're looking for Bonaire, they're on 800. One of the absolute best times to do that is somewhere in the 0300 to 0330 time frame when they're switching. That's UTC, by the way. When they're switching their antenna pattern from towards Caribbean, North America down to the south, they play the national anthem, which sounds a little bit like this.
Escuchaste que Brite 800 AM desde el Caribe holandés.
So you can hear. I mean, that's my that's 800 kilohertz here in New Orleans area with a local on that frequency, and that's how loud they are. Sometimes, I mean, they have a beast of a transmitter. So we have that up on our Anthems of Latin America page. I'll put that link here into the chat so you can use that to help you out if you're looking for Bonaire and Netherlands Antilles. That's a good way to hit it. So our friend Dave up in Montana got him, and let's see, that's a new country, so we start off with a passport stamp for our friend David. There we go. There we go. And, of course, we need to, let's see, he got the goal. Actually, that wasn't, was it a goal? Calling it a goal, we're going to call it this. We're going to call it a milestone. He broke his, 3,000 miles. 3,307 miles, was it? 3,300 miles. That's crazy cool. That's crazy good. And, of course, we got the log to saw here for him. I know he's usually parked on the couch watching from the couch. Hey, Dave. And glad that you were able to get that one in there. And add a new country. And a good one at that. A very, very good one. Coming up next, we got our friend Jerry up in New York. Jerry checks in with a couple of new logs, handful of new logs here. WCSL 1590 in Cherryville, North Carolina, one of those. Also, WMGE in Dry Branch, Georgia on 1670. Both of those are new. And WFEA 1370 in Manchester, New Hampshire, also new for our friend Jerry up in New York. So new logs for Jerry. Well done, my friend. All right. You still got time to get your shout-outs in. dxchallenges.com/shoutout. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. For next week, for those of you watching live or on the replay, Stephanie Stewart, I know you guys watching on the replay. For next week, our shout-outs is going to be a season recap. What did you get this year? What were your milestones this year? What are you proud of from this year? What new gear, new antennas, or new skills did you accomplish this year? Let's look back on this season. So basically from when we started in the fall, we'll call it the fall, after FM season was wrapped up, from there till May. You know, AM, FM, shortwave, NOAA weather radio, NDBs, TVDX, ham radio, the full gamut from the whole season here, from season 6 of DX Central Live. What did you get? What were your big moments? We want to hear about that. So that'll be our shout-outs for next week as a season recap, okay? So keep that in mind. I'll try to add a note to the shout-out page that that's what we're doing next week. Next, we got David Flotman in Missouri. David checking in. Got 2 new AM logs this week on 900 following last Friday's severe weather knocking out KFAL in Fulton, Missouri, 17 miles from me. On April 22nd, 0300, we got KDA in Lebanon, Tennessee, and 1100 UTC was able to snag KHOZ in Harrison, Arkansas, both on 900 kilohertz with his local, or local-ish, I guess, station knocked off the air. So well done, David. Got to take advantage of those situations when they pop up, man. I know when I moved here back in 2021, we were here 2 weeks after Ida. We were supposed to move in the day Ida hit, Hurricane Ida. We were supposed to be moving in that day. So we had to wait 2 weeks for power to come back on and everything else, internet and all that kind of stuff. So it was a week or two, I think, before we were able to come down here and get in. And we got in, and a lot of the stations weren't back on the air yet. I found that out as I was getting into like October, November. There were stations that weren't back on yet, and then a couple months later they started showing back up again. So sometimes we have to take those moments where Mother Nature makes some changes to our local band, and we have to take advantage of that if we can. Make the best of a bad situation, I guess. Well done to David, my friend. Next up, we got Walter in Georgia. Walter is checking in with a handful of new logs. WKJK 1080 in Louisville, Kentucky. This is from Walter in Albany, Georgia. For those of you who don't remember, he's in Georgia, Albany. This was a 474-mile catch for Walter. I keep wanting to say David. We have all these Davids. We have Davids and Mikes. Everyone's David or Mike in this in our community, it seems like. WONQ 1030 Oviedo, Florida, or Orlando area, 269 miles. 1400 WZNG in Shelbyville, Tennessee at 299 miles. WPEZ 93.7 in Jeffersonville, Georgia, one morning on about an 88-mile radius from the station's transmitter. Looks probably some Tropo coming in. Definitely this one here, WXBM 102.7 Milton, Florida. It's one of my Tropo catches here. Distance record for him, about 214 miles on the FM side of the house. WBAM Montgomery on 98.9 outside of a general store in Cordell, Georgia. with an estimated distance of 170 miles. A small pocket-sized AM/FM radio was used to receive WBAM in Birmingham. I'm sorry, Montgomery, Alabama, not Birmingham. So there you go. Some new FM catches, some Tropo, and some new AM. So a little bit of both for our friend Walter there in Georgia. Well done, my friend. I was looking for something there. All right. We're going to take a hiatus here on the shout-outs and do the rest next hour. We got Stuart coming up next hour, so we'll get to your shout-out. I know you're watching on the replay, my friend, so we'll get to your shout-out next hour. Again, dxchallenges.com/shout-out if you have anything that you've been hearing that you want to get in. But now I want to switch gears a little bit, and let's talk about how you can use other bands other than FM to help you prepare for or spot or identify potential paths or something for an opening. So there's some things you'll want to keep in mind if you're doing this, because it's not a foolproof slam dunk every time that if you're seeing something here, you're going to see something there, right? That kind of equation is not always going to happen. It's like saying, hey, I heard this station from Louisiana, I heard a station in California, so I'm going to hear a bunch of other stations from California, right? If you're having an opening in that direction, yeah, but maybe you're just getting that one station. Right, so it's not always a direct correlation. So let's start with Tropo and how you can use bands above the FM band to help you see if Tropo conditions are even occurring. So Tropo is a little bit different than sporadic E. Sporadic E, when we talk about that, usually you're talking about a maximum usable frequency, and it is rising as the E cloud of the ionization area. As that begins to get more and more dense, it's able to refract more and more smaller wavelengths. So your maximum usable frequency goes up and goes up and goes up, and it starts usually around the 10-meter band, 12-meter band, somewhere in there. It gets into 10 meters. Then it starts to go up a little bit to low-band VHF and the 33s, 34s. You start getting some of those like state highway, this is at least back in the day, state highway patrol from across the country or something like that. Then you start getting up a little bit higher into the 50 megahertz portion of things. Now we're talking about 6 meters. And so for ham radio operators, so 6 meters is where sporadic E, we're going to look at here in a minute, how you can start to kind of gauge early if that's happening there, on 6 meters, if that's continuing to kind of build in a little bit, if maybe something might happen on FM. Tropo works the other way. Tropo starts usually around, I want to say it's 220 megahertz. There might be some cases of it being a little higher, but I think where most people start to see it is around the 220 band. And then it starts working its way down towards FM. So you'll see it first in like the NOAA weather radio band. Then you'll see it in the 2-meter ham radio band at 144 megahertz-ish. And then it'll keep going down and going down until you get down to FM. And that's where a lot of you guys are probably paying attention, right? So how can I know that about those two propagation modes? Sporadic E, how it's going to rise from lower and get into the FM. Tropo, how it's going to start from the top and way and come back down. So how do I know that and then use that information to my advantage? Well, let's walk you through it. So let's start again with Tropo. So Tropo, since we're working down, there's two things that you can kind of do. One thing that I always do when there's a potential Tropo opening, and we're going to look at the forecast map here in a bit because it looks nice. It looks very nice. Is I keep an eye on my local NOAA weather radio band. I have one SDR that's devoted to just my local NOAA weather radio band. You might not be able to do that. Maybe you're going to use your same one that you have for your FM. That's fine. But I have these little presets over here under the frequency manager here in SDR Sharp. You can do something similar with like memories in SDR console, things like that. You can set up presets to easily go check out these frequencies. So I have every NOAA weather radio frequency in here, and this is with an AirSpy R2 that's plugged into a 162 megahertz J-pole. Even if you don't have an antenna cut for 162 megahertz, I've gotten quite a few catches using 2 FM antennas into my RSP Duo that I've used diversity mode to get rid of my local stations and then get the stuff underneath. 2 FM antennas. One's a 9-element Yagi, and the other one is a omnidirectional FM antenna, and those two together still get me 162 megahertz coverage. It's not perfect. It's not ideal, but it gets me stuff, right? So using NOAA weather radio as a early warning. So if you're seeing tropo conditions here, which right now we're not, this is all my local band. This is New Orleans right here on the 500, or 550 rather. The 500 is Bogalusa. There's a 475, which is, I think, Morgan City. We've got 400 and 425. These are much, much weaker. They're nearby, but they are pretty common. If I start seeing something on these two frequencies, though, if I see something on the 450 and the 500, now I'm paying attention, because that's something I don't normally see. I'm probably going to notice these other traces here that are right now a little bit weaker. They're going to be stronger, and I'm going to see something on this one and this one. So just like with everything else, you have to know your band. You have to know your local band. But if I start seeing stuff here, now IDX NOAA weather radio, because it's fun. And we're going to talk about that a little bit next week. It's fun. So if I see stuff here, I'm probably hitting record on my SDR. And I'm going to move on from there, because that way I can get some NOAA DX and then go from there. But if I'm seeing NOAA, the next step that I want to do is I want to see what's happening on 2 meters. Because if it's 162 megahertz, has it gotten down to 144? So that's where this comes in. This is the APRS map. For ham radio. APRS is an automatic packet reporting system, so it's basically, I have my HT, like this Kenwood here, right? So I have my Kenwood HT, and it automatically, I can have it set to do APRS, maybe it's a mobile 2-meter rig, and it'll automatically send out a APRS packet signal with a little GPS thingy in here that gives my location and my call sign, and then that transmits out on 2 meters on a specific frequency. Anyone who can hear my signal, it automatically goes to this map up here, this APRS reporting map. So what you're looking at with these little blobs here is I'm saying, okay, this is WA5SON. Okay, this is a ham here. This red area is supposedly showing you anywhere I'll put it this way. Anywhere you see a line there coming off of that WA5SON, any of those lines, that's a path to another ham radio operator that is receiving and seeing that WA5SON. All right? So that's what we're saying here. When I look at this, if I click on this blob, there's a ham radio operator down here in Mexico. XE2G is seeing that WA5SON. So that is something that now tells me how propagation is looking. Then you'll also see over here, there's a DX or ham over here in Lake Charles that's hearing WA5SON. So when you see these, that's what these blobs are telling you, is if you click on it, you'll see the path. Now the blob extends out past it, so the people who have the website have a algorithm or whatever they might have in place that basically says, okay, if this is the path that's being seen, then let's see what the potential could be for anyone in the area that might be hearing them, right? So we don't have necessarily anyone over here that's heard them right here along the border, but because we have this station down here in Mexico that's heard them, it's potential that you could be down here on the border hearing WA5SON. Does that make sense? So same thing with some of these you'll see here, like these. Here's one. This is this Florida station. They're not always going to look like a ham radio call sign. They might have something a little different. You can actually click on the call sign, and you can actually see the different stations that are seeing them, how long ago that was, and so forth. And so these are all ones that are within about 180, 185, 86 miles from that particular location versus this guy here. If I click on his... That's to be let me do the 2. That's the one that was being seen. There we go. So these are all the ones that are hearing that WA5SON-2, 764 miles down to Mexico. These other ones that are in here about 200 miles or so. There's a 300 mile or so. That tells you the conditions of the 2-meter band in that specific location, okay? Or those specific locations where they're hearing him and where he's being heard. So how do I use this for FM? Well, this gives me an idea of if I'm getting tropo on FM, what kind of path can I be expecting to see? Just because I'm seeing it on 2 meters or no weather radio does not mean I'm going to see it down on FM, right? Because again, it may get down to 144 and kind of just bottom out, and that duct isn't strong enough to be able to refract those lower frequencies, okay? Those lower, longer wavelengths. It might not be able to capture those. So if I saw something extending over here into the New Orleans area from this WA5SON over here, and I'm seeing there's some tropo now extending this red area over into my area, now I'm looking west. I'm moving my antenna to the west, and I'm just checking my FM band to see if anything might be coming in from that direction. I'm also looking at my auto loggers. I'm checking to see. That is the number one thing. You can use these as a tool to give you an idea of direction or potential paths or potential strengths. But until you turn the radio on and go check, you're not going to know for sure, right? Or if you go look at your auto logger. But even then, sometimes you might have an opening that the auto logger is not seeing anything. I've had so many openings where my auto logger hasn't seen anything yet, but I do, right? I'm seeing maybe not strong enough for RDS, or maybe it's in and out a little bit. So my auto loggers aren't really picking it up yet, but I do, because I go flip the radio on, or the SDR on in this case, and I'm going to go look, and I'm going to go check. So this map here, this 2 meter map, it can be very helpful for you to know what kind of paths are we looking at. And then you'll obviously notice here that the darker the color, these oranges and reds are going to signify further catches. So when you see these reds, those are a little bit more of a distance between the receive station and where they're receiving it from. In summertime, if you get an opening up to 2 meters on sporadic E, you'll see some purple here. You'll see some purple. But normally what we're looking at here is tropo. We're looking at 2 meter tropo with like these orange and red blobs. Those are the ones you're, especially the red, you're looking for the red. Okay. So that's how you can use 2 meters to help you. Okay. So right now, if I was over here in Charleston still, W84SUSN here on the Yorktown, I've worked field day from their station. I would be looking at that particular one, and I would be saying, okay, I'm seeing a little bit more up into the northern half than I am to the southern side. So I'm going to look at both, but I'm going to look at the north first and see if I have anything coming in from Myrtle Beach or Wilmington, things like that. If I was over here in Houston, I'm looking down. I'm looking down to Mexico, down towards Brownsville, down towards Reynosa. I'm looking down. That's what I'd be looking at. So this map is really, really good to give you an idea of potential paths and maybe where to point your antenna. But don't look at this as like, oh, the map is red, I'm going to go turn on my radio and there's going to be all kinds of DX there. No, that's the wrong mentality to have. That's what's going to get you frustrated. That's what's going to get you to the point where you're like, screw it, I'm not going to do this. You know, this DX stuff it's not working for me. Because you're looking at it the wrong way, right? Don't look at this as like, I expect it to be there. No. This is, if I was getting anything, this is kind of where I would be seeing it from, and then go check and see if you are. And if you're not, keep checking later on, because that might be building in and getting stronger over the course of the evening or the morning or whatever. Same thing for 6 meters as we look at sporadic E, okay? It's very much a similar, very analogous kind of feel to what we're just talking about with 2 meters, but we're going the other way. So now instead of a band that's higher than FM, now we're looking at a band that's lower in FM and seeing if it's come up into the FM band. So there are a handful of websites that a lot of us use to do that. One of those is here. This is DX Maps. DX Maps is a place where you'll see people who are spotting, like they're reporting, hey, I am W4LVH in Echo Mike 40, which is the grid square, Maidenhead grid square. It tells you your location. I'm in Echo Mike 40, and I just worked a station up in New York and FN, or in Charleston, South Carolina, FM 02. Okay, so I would then have a red path between me and Charleston, right? And so as you're sitting here and you're looking at this map, you'll start to see a lot of things crisscrossing. You'll see a lot of these paths start to crisscross. And where these paths kind of come together, that is your best likelihood of where the cloud is. And then if you're seeing anything off of that cloud, that central location that's down into your neck of the woods, that's an indicator that you might want to start paying attention. It's not a slam dunk. Again, it's not a, hey, I'm seeing 6 meters from Pennsylvania down into Louisiana, so I should be able to go flip on my radio and hear some Pennsylvania. No, don't expect that. That's going to get you frustrated. But this can be a very, very good indicator of what is happening on 6 meters, what paths are developing. If I look here and I see there's a line going this way from, let's say, Iowa to South Carolina. There's another one going here from Pennsylvania down to Mississippi. Maybe I've got a couple more Iowas down into Georgia or whatever. But it's kind of just a couple of lines here. That tells me there's not a lot of action off of that. Because trust me, when 6 meters is popping, when there's an opening, they're going to find it. If there's an opening, people are going to work it. So if there's a cloud that's dense enough and supportive enough for activity, the people who are seeing that and getting in on that, they're going to go. Because that's the whole thing. You've only got a couple months of this in the summertime. They're going to go work. They're trying to work grids. They're trying to work states. This is the only time of the year the band's open. Let's go make it happen. Okay? So if you're only seeing a couple of paths, that tells you that the path isn't super strong. The cloud isn't super strong. It's supporting some activity, but it's not a large amount. If it's not really supporting a large amount of activity, the chances of you seeing anything in the FM when the MUF has risen to FM, it's pretty low. It's not zero, but it's pretty low. When I start seeing a lot of lines, and especially if I'm seeing a lot of lines from a lot of different directions crossing that same path, now you have my attention. Because now that's a more dense cloud. It's producing more activity at 50 megahertz. And so the fact that it's producing more activity means it's getting its act together. It's becoming more dense. It's able to refract more signals at that 50 megahertz bandwidth or frequency. It's refracting those signals, and now it could be more likely to start bumping that MUF up, especially if you start seeing the distances on 50 megahertz get shorter. If you start seeing distances at 50 megahertz get shorter and shorter and shorter, if you start seeing people working 500-600 mile apart on 50 megahertz, you better go check FM because it's pretty good chance. It's not always, it's not 100%, as we were talking about last night in the Slack channel. It's not 100%, right? I have plenty of times where I've I've done it too on 6 meters, where I have a 500 mile catch on FM, on E, but the MUF tapped out at the upper end of the band. It never got up to NOAA weather radio. It never got up to 2 megahertz or 2 meters, whatever. So, so keep an eye on this one. Another one that can be good for this, and this one I used a lot last year, is this one here for 6 meters. This is PSK Reporter. Oh, I didn't like that link. It's too big. Let's just do the front end. Just go to PSK Reporter, and then you can set up your filters and all that kind of stuff in to say, I only want to look at 6 meters. I only want to look at the last 30 minutes or whatever it might be. So you'll see these paths right here. This is trans-equatorial is what this is. This time of the year, you're going to see a lot of these 6 meter paths that are trans-equatorial. It's people up in North America working down to South America. Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, all the stuff that I chase on AM. You're going to see a lot of people working down there into 6 meter across the equator. If these were paths that were, intercontinental, in the same continent, and they were all domestic, now you've got my attention, right? So if these paths were kind of crossing and they're working each other, now you've got my attention. As an example, last year I was seeing a lot of activity here, a path that was going Florida into Texas, Florida and Mexico. There was some stuff up here into Texas, down into Cuba, down this way. There was some down over here in Louisiana going down this way, and people above us over to the north going down this way to the southeast, working down in Central America. So this map showed very clearly there was a cloud right over in here somewhere, right here in the Gulf. And so I was like, ooh, and it was really starting to kind of get going. Like there was a lot of lines. So I said, let me go check that out. So I went up and fired up my 6-meter rig, my ham radio rig, and I was doing FT8, and I was seeing Cuba, I was seeing Jamaica, I was seeing all these paths down here. So then I went to an FDMX web server up in Miami, and they were sure enough seeing over into Mexico, over this way, across the Gulf in Miami. And I said, well, if they are seeing that, then let me go check. So 88.1, fired it up, heard Jamaica. Instantly, right away, was Jamaica. And that was May 31st. And got, I think, 37 logs that day, 27 out of Jamaica. And it wasn't a super long opening, but it was there. And I was able to spot that because I was looking at the paths and saying, okay, what directions are going? So I had time to go out and turn my antenna to the southeast or to the southeast. I had time to get everything up and ready and knowing what to start checking. So that's the key. You'll hear some people who will say, oh, no, don't look at 6 meters. It doesn't tell you anything because it's not going to equate to FM. No, it's not. But it can start giving you intel that you can use towards helping you be ready if that opening does occur. Like I said, if that path is getting its act together and you're seeing a lot of lines develop along that same kind of crisscross, especially if they're in a lot of different directions, if I'm seeing a lot of lines in those paths, it's really getting dense. And if I'm noticing anything when I'm looking at like the mileage here, if I'm seeing down on the list, which I think they do have a list option here that I can do as well, if I remember right, on the PSK reporter. Then if I'm looking at that, I'm looking at the mileage, I'm like, okay, that's getting pretty short. Go check your FM band. Go start looking at your auto logger maps and just see. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many times, even if it's just a little boop, a little quick little burst up into FM and then the MUF came back down again, you might catch something, right? So this is what I'm talking about using some of these other bands. Here's a PSK reporter for 2 meters. So you can do the same thing we talked about with like APRS. You can do that here to see people are actually working 2-meter action. So some really, really good opportunities for you to use these other bands above and below FM. Depending on the propagation you're looking at, to know if action is starting to kind of heat up a bit. And so I do this all the time. And you just have to make sure you set your expectation and don't assume, well, I'm going to hear something on FM because 6 meters is going. That's not the right mentality to have. You're going to be disappointed, I promise you. More often than not, you're going to be like, well, dang. No, I'm not seeing anything. Even if, because we talked about this before, right? Even if people are seeing FM on that same path, and let's say they're seeing stuff from your local area, that doesn't mean you're going to hear anything. We talked about that, right? It just, you're not going to know until you go check. A lot of times, I feel like a lot of us, we get into this habit of like wanting to like decode things without actually just flipping on the radio. Go just flip on the radio. This will tell you, right, like what's happening around the FM band. And then you have like FM List and some of those others where you can actually, like WLogger, where you can actually see if people are hearing stuff on FM. That's always a great thing. Or the Rabbit Ears Auto Logger map. That's always a really good thing because that's FM, right? But it still doesn't mean you're going to get anything. And you're not going to know until you flip it on. So you go look at your radio and just go try. Just go scan through your open frequencies, which is why you have to know those. Go check out your open frequencies. See if anything's coming in. And don't just look at the low ones. I check all of my open frequencies, even the high ones, just in case. Because I was saying last night in Slack, I've had plenty of openings where I have a station on 95.1 and that's it, or 96 point whatever, and that's it. Nothing else coming in. It's not always going to just produce for you on 88.1 because there may be nothing there from that location that's coming in. They may not have anything down low for you. So maybe 95.1 is the only thing coming in because that's all there is that you could receive. You never know. These can get hyper local sometimes. All right. It's top of the hour. Let's do some more DX.
DX Central Live top of the hour alert.
All right, let's do a little AMDX because the band is starting to open up here a little bit. Our friend Rick said it spot on, absolutely spot on. Sometimes being a DXer is like being a detective, and my thing with that is, I'm not going to limit myself in what tools I put at my disposal that can help me spot an opening. I'm not going to say, well, that's the one I'm going to use and everything else. No. I want all of it. If I'm going to get that opening, if I want to know that opening's happening, I want every single tool at my disposal that I can use to get that stuff in the log, because sporadic E is only around for a short amount of time and then it's gone for the rest of the year. I need to maximize my opportunity to get that DX in the logbook. Okay? That's my whole thing. Let's take this to our... we'll do it this way, off the Air Spy, because this is the same antenna. This is the 25 by 72 foot CAS at 10 feet off the ground, bearing 150 degrees. Let's see what's coming in. Let's just do a tour of the beacon frequencies down low. Starting with my one of my favorites, Guatemala 1570. Radio Vea. This is what they're doing on their website right now.
Sí. Falló la mujer a su marido.
That's Guatemala. Let's see if we're hearing anything. Or it was Chuck, my bad. I thought I saw Rick's name. It was Chuck. My bad, Chuck. Credit where it is due. That's an absolutely perfect analogy. Being a DXer is being a detective a lot of times. Let's go to 1510. Let's see if Radio Monumental is coming in by getting rid of WLAC. Oh, speaking of, look what came in today. My AirSpy R2. This is my portable DX SDR for FM right here. And for NOAA. This is it. Came in. That's Radio Monumental for sure. For sure, that's who that is. I would do some FM, but there's not really much kicking off right now. Let's go down. Let's go down lower now. So the band hasn't filled in yet down the low end just yet. Because AM starts from the top and works its way down. Filling in. So we haven't filled in the lower half of the band yet. It's still working. Hey, Mamacita, what's up? Frying bacon is very accurate. I think we have those same storms heading our way overnight, and it's about to get cool tomorrow. And then it's going to get hot again, which is what we're going to be looking at with the Tropo map. So that's the bacon that we're frying right now. So when people talk about AMDX and how like the summertime kind of is like no good for AMDX, that's kind of what they're talking about, right? They're talking about how we've got a lot more of that going on, the static, the noise, just the stuff that you have to deal with, the lightning crashes and so forth. That's what a lot of times we're talking about with that, and I get that. Is it harder to DX AM this time of the year? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Does it mean that you can't hear anything? No. There's lots of stuff to hear on AM this time of the year. It's just going to be a little more challenging. And if there's one thing I know about this community, it's that not one of you has ever backed down from a DX challenge, right? Right? We're on our low noise vertical now. Even the vertical is getting some of that lightning. Let's go back up top, where it's a little more filled in. Well, let's check out, while we're here, this is the 285 degree West Kaz. Not as bad on the lightning crashes on there, is it? We're pointing. We have the lightning is in our null, the broadside null. Attenuates it. It's still there, but it's attenuated. There's La Porrosa. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Morning time is a really good time for AMDX this time of the year. Sunrise skip, super good. And overnight can be too if the storms aren't like lingering around overnight. Most of the storms are going to be daytime and sunset. Well, daytime not such a big deal. Sunset, okay, that sucks. Early evening, but if you set an overnight recording, the storms will probably be died down quite a bit. I mean, compare this. There's the low noise vertical, omnidirectional. This is the Kaz pointing right at the west, towards Ciudad Acuña, where this station's coming from. There's your difference on a directional antenna. Which reminds me, we're probably a little early on 1550 here for Arizona. But we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe next hour we'll go back and check for them. I wonder who that is. I mean, that's a really good signal from XCRF. Biggest signal I have on them is on this west antenna, as it should be. But this just shows you the power of what a directional antenna can do on AM. And then as a reminder, as a comparison point, here is the shortwave central Kiwi, or antenna. pointing towards Columbia, they're hardly there. Right? They're hardly anything there. So again, that shows you that's a super directional antenna pointing away from Mexico. This is a super directional antenna pointing towards them, and you hear the difference. So this is what I kind of go back to sometimes when I talk about if you're doing that logbook analysis and you're trying to figure out how am I going to get this stuff in my log that I'm not hearing. Sometimes it takes stuff like this antenna specifically that we were just listening on here. This west-facing antenna was specifically put in the air so that I could fill in a gap on my logbook in that direction at 285 degrees. That's the exact reason that antenna exists right now. So sometimes you have to, if you're trying to get those results that you want, sometimes you have to strategize and say, okay, where am I missing stuff? And then develop a plan on how you're going to address that. And for me, the plan was, okay, I don't have a lot of room to do what I want to do, and which is why in 5 years almost, I had not put this antenna up because I was like, well, I can't put up a 70-foot long antenna, so it's not going to be worth it. Well, clearly that's not the case. Clearly, you can produce something good enough to get you some results. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about some final preparations for the upcoming sporadic E season. And we're also going to talk about meteor scatter. Because I learned this week that some folks think that you can't DX meteor scatter FM. That's not true. That's not true. We're going to prove it to you. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live is heading your way after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. The International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Can't get enough DX? Then the DX Central from the Static podcast is for you. Take DX Central on the go and listen to episodes from DX Central Live, interviews with prominent members of the DX community, tips, tricks, how-tos, your DX memories and stories. And that's just the start. You can find the From the Static podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, or anywhere you get podcasts, or by visiting FromTheStatic.net. That's FromTheStatic.net. For stories, signals, and voices from across the airwaves, don't miss the DX Central From the Static podcast.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
This band is coming like a ghost town. All the sunspots have fallen down. I spin the dial from the left to the right. No propagation anywhere inside. This band is nothing but dead air. There's no one talking there. Can't hear no music, just the static everywhere. Do you remember the good days? When the signals used to fly. Now the solar cycle's sleeping and the radio is dry.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
Silence on the 10, silence on the 12. Put the radio back on the shelf. Why must the youth fight against the noise when the sun steals all our toys? This band is nothing but dead air. There's no one talking there.
I hope not.
Solar minimum.
I hope that's not the case as we head into FM season. I do want to give you guys a little bit of a preview of the vibe that we're going to have for our Summer of DX. I was putting this together last night. So taking that same exact song that we just heard, which is why I played it. So we're going to be doing our Summer of DX challenge again. We're going to announce all the details next week on our season finale. But this year, ho ho ho.
The solstice is rising. The mercury is high. Looking for the fire in the middle of the sky. I got the whip on the roof and the gain turned up. Drinking down the signal from a silver cup. It's the summer of DX. Summer of DX. Under the great generator. The sun is the maker. The sun is the breaker.
Oh yeah.
Now or later. Now or later. The summer of DX.
Yeah. It's gonna be like that. We're gonna have we're gonna take what we've done in the past. So let me do the historical here. So 2 years ago when we started the Summer DX Challenge, we did just AM, and it was to prove that AM was something you can still do in the summertime. And I think we accomplished that. I think we did that very, very well. You guys turned in just a ton of stuff. People from all over the world were submitting their DX loggings from Europe and from Asia. We had people from all over the world submitting their loggings. It was great. Last year, we expanded into FM, and we introduced the Grid Challenge for the first time ever, that you could go out and try to hear 100 grids on the FM band. In addition to, just logging and stuff like that. So we did that last year, and that was great. That was a lot of fun, man. The Grid Challenge was great. Gave some new energy into it, and a lot of folks really enjoyed that. So this year we're gonna build upon that. So I said earlier we do the same thing here on the live stream, right? We just build upon what we did the year before. Just keep building and building and building, and we don't go backwards. We're trying to build momentum, right? So this year, all the stuff I just talked about, AMDX will still be there. FMDX will still be there. The Grid Challenge is going to be there. And then we're throwing some other stuff on top of it. I can't wait. You guys are going to love this next week when we dive into this, getting the chance to take a look at it. So make sure that you are either here with us live, or that you definitely, if you can't do that, and Stuart's got to work, some other folks, but if you can't be here with us next week for the season finale, at the very minimum, watch the replay, because you're going to want all the details in the inside track stuff that we're going to talk about next week on the Summer of DX Challenge, because it's going to be a toasty one. I mentioned earlier I got my new AirSpy R2 in. I also got in this week some antennas. These are little rubber ducky antennas cut for 162 megahertz. This is from a brand called Smiley antennas. That our friend Les Rayburn over in Alabama hooked us up with the intel on and was talking about in the Slack channel. So ordered a couple of these, and I got one for an HT, and then I was also going to put one on my weather radio. But then I got to thinking, I was like, you know what? It's got an SMA connection on the bottom, and there's an SMA connector on my R2. So I could do the same. I could take this, because this is my portable VHF SDR, right? That's what I take for a portable Tropo DX or whatever for FM. And I was going to record off of it. I have my 5-element Aero antennas, Yagi, that I had custom built. Well, I can also do this. I can plug this guy into the R2, put it up a little bit, and use this to DX 162. Tropo, maybe E-skip. So I'll here in a bit, I'll go pull up the link for Smiley antennas. I'll drop it in the chat. So if you are looking at wanting to do some HT work, some weather radio work or whatever for 162 megahertz for NOAA weather radio, these are really, really good antennas for it. They're cut for 160 megahertz. They work really, really well. I think they actually give you a little bit of gain. If I remember right, looking at the specs, they actually give you a little bit of gain. So this is a great option. So that bundle that you guys saw me with last week, my portable rig for FM, now the SDR, the R2 gets put in there. I have a Uniden scanner that I'm putting there with one of these whips, this rubber ducky here. That's going in, and now the R2. So now the portable rig is set up, ready to go for VHF. That was like one of the last things I had left to do to get ready. Speaking of, let's talk about what we need to do to get ready really quick. So sporadic season is here. So what do we need to do? The final preparations. You should already have your band scan done, or you're wrapping it up now with our challenge. We just into the challenge. The challenge is officially over now. So we are done with challenges, right? That's it. We have wrapped up another season of medium wave frequency challenges. We're done. And I'm going to show you guys here in a bit how to download your band scan, right? I know Stephanie's watching the replay for that specifically. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So what else? You have to finish your band scan if you haven't done that already. Check your feed lines. Don't assume. Check your feed lines. F connectors, anywhere you have like an F to B and C adapter, those are bad for going out. F connectors get loose, they get sloppy, they come dislodged. Check your feed lines. Oh my goodness, please check your feed lines. I'm about to do the same thing for my log periodic. That's one of my projects for next weekend. In addition to the shack work I'll be doing is my feedline work. So check your feed lines. Please, please, please check your feed lines, especially anything that's low to the ground or anywhere near kind of animal where they can munch on it or get to it in some capacity. Or water. You know, you want to make sure you keep the water out. So hopefully you have that wrapped. This is the time if you need to order a new Channel Master Balun or a new splitter or a Kit's KT501 low noise amplifier. Doing it now, right? You don't have to be waiting for it in the middle of the season and there's openings happening and popping off and everything's going and you're missing out because you didn't get that done now. Now's the time to order, right? Your SDR software, is it up to date with the most recent version? Whatever you're using, SDR console, HD SDR, SDR Sharp, are you using the most up to date and recent version, right? Do you have the most recent firmware for your SDR? Okay. Or if it's maybe if you're using SDR Connect or SDR Uno for like an SDR Play unit with the diversity mode, are you running the most recent version with all the bells and whistles and best functionality? If you're remoting in like with SpyVerter or the Spy server or the remote connection for SDR Play or SDR whatever, if you're remote connecting into your SDR, have you tested that recently to make sure that is working? That computer that you're running that connection off of, Raspberry Pi or whatever, that it's connected, it's working, everything's good. You're gonna want to check all that out. Start checking make sure your antennas look good. If you have a rotor, make sure you test your rotor. Is it still rotating all the way 360 all the way around? If you're not using a rotor, have you gone out and tried turning your masts? Because I did this not too long ago. One of my masts I tried to turn and it wouldn't budge. And I had to get in there and kind of jostle it around a little bit to get it to move. But, you know, have you tried that lately? Or if you're like me, one of my antennas, I actually have to go out and tighten it down because it's a little too loosey-goosey. I point it in southwest, and next thing I know, I come out the next day, and it's back pointing north again because the wind was able to blow it towards the north, right? Or whatever direction the wind was coming from. So checking this stuff, checking your feed lines, checking your connections coming into your house from the outside. Do you have all that good? Do you have it labeled? You might want to have it labeled so you know which is which if you have multiple antennas. If you're looking for that quick connect, quick disconnect for your F connector, do you have one of those in place where you just slide it onto the F connector, right? Do you have that? Do you have new ones? Because those go out too. All these little things. And other things you can also do. Familiarize yourself with your resources that you're going to use. Make sure you're signed up for your e-alerts. Make sure an FM list. Make sure you're going into FM list and re-familiarizing yourself. We looked at last week how to get in there real fast and do a log in 5 seconds or whatever it was. Get in there. Has the interface changed at all since last time you looked at it? You're going to want to know that. Same thing with WLogger. They're making improvements to WLogger. Has it changed since last time you used it? Is your login to the site still working? You don't want to find that out when there's an opening that you're not able to log in. Check your login. Do it now. Go to the FMDX web server map. See if there's any new web servers that you are not familiar with, that you haven't used before in different areas that you commonly get DX from. I get a lot of DX from Michigan. I get a lot of DX from Ontario, Pennsylvania, Western New York. So I'm looking up to those areas constantly to see if there are any new web servers up in those areas, because that's what's going to help me compare to what I'm hearing, most likely. I'm looking down south because we do get some nice southern openings down into Mexico, down into the Caribbean. Do we have any new stuff down there? So look at your paths of what you normally get, and then look for those online web servers, online receivers that you can use to try to match up to what you're hearing. And also to see if they're hearing you, right? Is Michigan hearing New Orleans, right? So I want to go check that out perhaps. These are all things to be doing now. This is what's going to help you be ready when the time comes to hit that in. Your auto loggers, are those working? Are they reporting? I've got 2 that are on the fritz right now. I'm working on trying to get those back up and running, but are your auto loggers, are they producing? Are they logging the RDSD codes? Are they uploading that to rabbit ears? Have you checked your maps lately? Because if they're not working, you don't want to find that out in an e-opening that you missed it out. Are your SDR programs set up? Or do you have your RDS data uploaded in SDR console? Is that updated? Like we talked about a couple weeks ago. All these things. So just make sure you're just going through your little checklist and making sure that you're not missing anything. and you'll be ready for sporadic E season. Take those resources we talked about earlier, like DX Maps, PSK Reporter for 6 meters, the Rabbit Ears All-Tuner map for FM, the FM List maps, WLogger. Take all these resources, put them in bookmarks in your web browser that you can easily get to. And make sure that you've got, the right URL for it, because sometimes those URLs might change. So make sure you got the right URL for them. I think the APRS map URL changed last year. So you're going to want to make sure you got the latest one. All right. Real quick, before we do our shout out here for our friend Stuart, let's take a look at something that I forgot to mention last week about FM List. And I think I have it pulled up over here. Yes. Okay. So let's take a look at this feature that's up in FM List that I think is pretty cool. Okay, it's pretty cool. I'm here. I'm logged in FM List right now. I'm in the My FM area. Up at the top, you'll see a section here called Logbook. Have you ever clicked on that? Click on it. And then you'll see here we have your station information. And there's like what should be a table here. And you'll see that table once you populate a date. So I'm going to populate here in this one, 8/13/2025, because that's the one I'm working on right now. So here's all of my logs that I've submitted to FM List from August 13th of 2025, right? So this is the logbook feature that allows you to see all the stuff that you've logged into FM List from whatever date. And then you can also, from here, use the visual logbook to see all of your logs. So there's all the logs on the map from my opening on August 13th. I'm at 152 logs right now so far and climbing. But that's not the cool part. Here's the cool part. This. The FM List DX Log Analyzer. Let me tell you something. This is pretty nifty. It's something that you'll take this data here, you're going to export it out to a CSV, and then upload that into the log analyzer, and then the log analyzer is going to give you a bunch of details and metrics about your logs. You can do it for an individual day. I see more value in getting everything, right? So maybe I want to look at 2025. I just want to look at all of my stuff from 2025. Now this is going to have all your sporadic E in there, all your Tropo, everything is going to be included in here. But let's just say I just want to see all of 2025. Your first step that you're going to do is go up here and say export CSV. Okay, you're looking for the export to CSV option on here. And then you're going to have a file that downloads. And once it downloads, then go over here to FM List DX Log Analyzer and click on that. Now, over here where it says Choose Files, choose that file. It's only going to work with an FM List CSV file because that's what it knows. It knows what headers it should be finding. It knows how the data should be formatted. It knows how to work with that CSV. So you're not going to be uploading your own logbook here, okay? You're uploading your FM List logs. So you're going to download that log for whatever time frame you want to look at, and then go up here and upload it. And you're already probably seeing some really, really cool data here. I've got this right now. There's a filter here for propagation mode, so you can look at only E's, only Tropo, only meteor scatter, Aurora E's, or you can look at everything. So let's look at E's for right now. So this is going to tell you your best day of E's that you've had. So here's August 13th, 149 logs. Right? Here's my best distance in kilometers, was 2,245 kilometers on July 4th. Right? So that's good. And then you'll see the rest of them there. And then it's going to give you, here's all how many total different locations you heard, how many total unique stations did you hear, how many, and when it says locations, that's like how many different stations did you log, right? But then how many unique stations did you log? So some of those, you're probably getting, if you have multiple openings to the same area, you're probably logging some of those stations repeatedly. The Wolf up in Buffalo. 536 unique different locations. 668 unique programs. Let's see here. Max distance, here's the kilometers. I don't remember if there's a way to do this as miles or not. I mean, you can convert it. It's easy to convert. Max distance here. And minimum distance, 824 kilometers. So showing you your shortest skip. And then you've also got your average, 1,620. How many days did you have activity in 2025 in this case? How many countries did you hear? And then here's how many logs you had per country. So top distance by country first. So this is how my furthest distances were in Canada, and then the U.S., and then Jamaica, Mexico, Honduras, Cuba, and Cayman Islands. Here's your top countries. USA was by far, but then there was Mexico with 85 logs, 68 from Canada, 28 from Jamaica, and so forth. Your bearings, this basically shows you your path, your distance, or your not your distance, but your bearings, your path, which paths were the most common. It was that 30 to 60 degree range for me, which is, again, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Western New York, just like we talked about. Your country diversity per day. So for all the different openings that you had, where did you have different countries? So there's a lot here that's mostly going to be centered around our European friends because they have more countries that they're hearing than we do. We're hearing more like states. So keep that in mind. Top 10 programs. So your top 10 stations that you heard. Here's WAMU in DC. I heard them 6 times. WMBZ, heard them 5 times. WSBX, 5 times as well. So this will show you how many stations you heard multiple times, basically. Your top 10. Top 10 locations. So top 10 cities. DC, Baltimore, Rochester, Buffalo, Toronto. Again, that northeast pathway there. Logs per month. I had a little bit here in April, but we also had May, June, July, and August, with August actually doing pretty good from like basically one opening. The distance histogram is going to show you the distance. We call this the distance distribution on our dashboard, but to show you how many logs you have in these different categories of distances, kind of show you where your peaks are at. We really fall off here at 2,300 kilometers is our peak, which for me is around 1,400 miles, I think. Your propagation dynamics, so what time of the day are you seeing stuff in? This is in UTC. You can do a distance of 1 hour, or you can do like 30-minute increments. You can do 15-minute increments to kind of show you where the quarter hours really kind of come into play there. Your bearing, so which bearings, again, there's that 30 to 60, really kind of pulling it in. Your meteors, your megahertz versus distance. So as the MUF continued to rise, what were you seeing distance-wise? It's pretty even across most of these for the most part for me. Power and distance. The heat map of logs by day and by hour. So here's all your days over here on the left, your hour here at the bottom, kind of showing you where those are. And then your same thing with months and hour. So where did you have the most? Like, so here in the 1,500 hour UTC in June was pretty productive for me. The 2,000 UTC in May, some up here in August and so forth. So there's your ease per day. And then you have an animation map, which basically walks through all of your 953 logs and shows it all to you on a map with little crosshairs and so forth. So pretty cool. Your top distances, your shortest distances by station, lowest power, your top stations and so forth. So yeah, pretty cool log analysis tool. So this is a really cool way. You can do the same thing here. Like, since I have all of my propagation, I can switch this to Tropo. It's going to tell me my best Tropo days and all the same data around Tropo. Again, this is really, it's based on our friends over in Europe building it for themselves. It's going to be hyper focused on countries. So you're not going to see much around states here. But you will see like countries, because that's how they're kind of DXing over there, is based on countries, not states. So here's my Tropo. A lot of stuff over here to my east. Not as much to my west this year. This last year wasn't as much. Texas. Much more over here to my east, into Georgia, South Carolina, Florida this last year. And then your meteor scatter. Let's take a look at our meteor scatter and see how that looks. I didn't do a lot this year. 22 logs in meteor scatter. There's my pole. So biggest one for me was 0 to 30, so kind of northeastish was kind of the big one there. Okay, so definitely you can take that, plug that into that log analyzer, and get some of the data on your specific logs from FM List. We'll be doing our data dashboard reveal. It is a renewal. We revamped the entire thing, and we're revealing that next week on our season finale. So you'll definitely want to make sure you're here for that, because as I've said before, you're going to see data about sporadic E that you've never seen before. You're going to be experiencing sporadic E in a way that you've never seen before. Promise you that. You've never analyzed a sporadic E opening or openings the way that you're going to be able to do starting next week. I promise you that. All right, let's do shout-outs for our friend Stuart.
Hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM to C to C. We celebrate the ones who slag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
There we go. Our friend Stuart up in Michigan checking in with his shout out here. And there's a lot of FM, very big into FM, and also 2 meter ham radio. No Weather Radio DX. VHF. That's his poison. But he's been getting into AM this year. Pretty happy and proud about that one. Nothing new this week on the DX front, says Stuart. Again, up in Michigan, Ann Arbor-ish. Mostly due to having a busy week at work, as well as getting ready for an overseas trip to England next week. Jolly good. But I did want to acknowledge that today happens to mark my 1-year anniversary of serious broadcast band DXing. It's funny how we kind of we do that, right? We know exactly when it started. February 25th, 1993. At 10:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. That was when I got serious about it. Not too long ago, Jerry mentioned Lloyd's recent Spectrum Monitor article in the Slack channel referencing his comments about inviting more younger people into the hobby. It was what I was talking about earlier. That took me back to when I got my ham radio license at the age of 13, and I received my first big Tropo opening on 2 meter and 440 FM not too long after that, in the middle of January. During that opening, I received repeaters out about 200 miles in all directions, and it immediately got me hooked into ham radio DXing, especially on those two bands. See, it's wherever you get that first, like, where the light bulb goes off, that's where we usually kind of gravitate. For me, it was AM, so I tend to gravitate more to AM, but the FM bug has bit me hard in recent years, like seriously hard. And plus, I always loved 6 meters anyway, so. Here I am 17 years later gaining so much more knowledge about broadcast band DXing than I had in the past, particularly on FM. Because of that knowledge, I've become so hooked on FM E-skip to the point that it's become my new favorite mode of propagation for DX as a whole. I started thinking about the August 13th, 2022 opening that introduced me to E-skip without having any idea why I was hearing Central Florida from my vacation spot up in northern Michigan. That's so many people. That's what gets them. I remember there was an opening. I want to say it was May 31st of 2023. I was doing the recording review, and it was a station up in the I want to say DC area, and they were taking like emails from listeners. And one of the listeners like, "Why am I listening to this station in like Nebraska right now instead of you guys? Like, you know, whatever." And they were like, "Oh, you can always listen to us online or whatever." They never stopped for a second to take that moment to say what you're experiencing, because they probably didn't know. You need a DXer at every radio station. Dang it. Using headphones of all antennas connected to a Philips portable FM radio recorder. This is his first E-skip he had in 2022. So he was using his headphones as the antenna. That night before that, see, that goes back to another thing that I've said. When the band is open, especially with E-skip. You can DX off of anything that will pick up a telescopic whip, headphone wire. If the band is open, the band is open. Let's not overcomplicate it when it comes to E-skip. Let's see. The night before that opening, however, using that same setup, I happened to set my current all-time FM Tropo distance record of 97.9 kick FM in Hannibal, Missouri at 430 miles. I'm still blown away how incredibly strong the signal was that night using such a minimal setup. If I'm ever so lucky to hear any of the St. Louis stations from here in Ann Arbor, I'll end up tying that record. A heartfelt thank you to Lloyd and the DX Central Live audience, that's you guys, for pointing me to so many different tools over the past year and making this hobby a lot of fun. Here's to many more years of great DX across the bands. Here, my friend. Yes, absolutely. And let's listen to his clip here of his Tropo catch here.
97.9 Kick FM.
There you go. I mean, that's what it's all about. So he didn't have any new logs. He's doing a sharing of a story here about some good DX on. So we're going to give you the horn of victory here, my friend, because you have you've definitely come a long way. You've embraced the AM. You've come a long way in your FM and your VHF DX, and it's really, really cool to see, my friend. For you and so many of our folks here in the community, I'm so happy that you guys have been getting so much out of it. So kudos, and can't wait to see what this season has in store for you and all of us, actually. All right. Let's see. While I'm talking about that, let's take a look at the Tropo forecast for next week. You ready for this? This is going to be fun. If this holds up. Now, the juicy good stuff here is further out. We're like 5-6 days. You know I don't like to look more than 3 days on this forecast map because it's going to change. So take what we're about to look at with a grain of salt. My advice to you is continue to look at the forecast map. We're going to drop that link over here in the chat. Continue to watch this forecast map to see if the future runs every day keep what we're about to see in place, or is it going to change? I feel pretty good about it because what's supposed to happen here is it's about to get cool like Saturday, Sunday, and then it's going to get hot. We're supposed to get super hot here the first week of May. And then it's going to, or this coming week, the last week of April. And then it's going to get cold again. But, and you know, cold kills Tropo. But that super hot, super muggy, little preview of summer, if that happens, this is what we're in store for, okay? And I'm going to be including of all of you guys. All right. So this is 1 o'clock UT, or 1 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 1800 UTC earlier today. It is now, let's see, we're at 200. So this is pretty close to what we're going to be seeing either between now and the next hour or so. So you got a nice little bit of a bit of fair to moderate to maybe a little bit of high in spots here in the Kansas area. Ryan, Wichita, if you're watching, Missouri, up into parts of Nebraska and Iowa, into parts of Illinois here. So that kind of fair to moderate, maybe a little bit of high right there on the Kansas-Missouri border. A little bit here kind of scattered around, again, fair to moderate here in parts of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas. We're seeing a little bit of a push here. Nothing crazy here on the Gulf Coast for us right now. It's pretty moderate. Some more fair to moderate up here in the Carolina, Virginia area. A little bit scattered here into Missouri, or Ohio rather, Indiana, seeing a little bit. Parts of Pennsylvania, right off the coast over here. Of course, the Carolina coast. We saw this on the APRS map earlier, didn't we? We saw this kind of like Wilmington to South Carolina piece. It didn't go much further down than that Georgia line right there around Savannah. Well, that's what we're seeing right here on the forecast. The forecast is validating. I would be interested to see if Bermuda might be a little further north than this. So maybe a little bit right here off the south or the east coast of Florida. That, again, is what we're going to see in the next hour or so. So this is like coming up here tonight. Now look at this. We get to, this is 0900 UTC. So this is what, around 4 a.m. Central Time. Look at that Oklahoma bit. Look at the into Kansas. Ryan, again. You might have some Tropo heading your way. Look at into Iowa, parts of Missouri, up into Wisconsin. They're around the Great Lakes. You guys into the Indiana, Kentucky area right there around, what is that? Is that Paducah right there on that side of the state in Kentucky? A little bit of a push here into the Oklahoma, Texas border, and then inland pushing in from the Gulf into parts of Texas around San Antonio. Robert, looking up your way now, up around Austin, East Texas, into Central Texas. So some Tropo there for you guys. Again, that Tropo over here on the East Coast pulling up a little bit further to the north, losing some of that southern end, but keeping this northern side of it. And a little bit here into the Mid-Atlantic area as well. This is, again, 4 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Look at now. We get to around sunrise here, 7 a.m. Central Time. Look at what we have now. Solid Tropo. Ryan, Kansas. Again, my friend, you got yourself some stuff coming here tonight potentially that you don't normally get to see that far inland. You're going to have some. You're going to have some Tropo. It may not be earth-shattering. It may not be like crazy stuff, but you're going to get some Tropo. Some really good stuff here in Oklahoma, down into parts of Texas. Again, that inland push here. Most of Texas looks like it's going to have something. We're not seeing a whole lot down here. And you got the little stuff right here off the coast. You got a little bit up here around Wisconsin, the Great Lakes, the Chicago area, the Indiana. So you guys are all up here in this little kind of fair to moderate. Again, I'm not seeing anything that's like, holy crap, hold on to your radios because they're going to just blow away from the amazing Tropo. But it's there. There's some Tropo. And then we see this kind of shift in intensifying a little bit further to the north into Kansas now. Right here up into parts of Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, right here on the border. Most of everything from like the panhandle east of Texas is under some sort of Tropo. So that's nice to see, right? So quite a bit of Tropo here. I'm assuming our front is probably right in here. If we look at like, if we were able to see the front line, I'm assuming this approaching cold front is probably like right here. We get to tomorrow, 1 o'clock Saturday Central Time. Still a little bit here in the Oklahoma, Arkansas area. A little bit up here into parts of Michigan, Indiana, Missouri, Illinois. Starts to kind of burn off here as we get into the daytime. But then we start to see a little bit more again here. Some really nice Tropo here off the Texas coastline. Down around Brownsville, down that way. Up in parts of Oklahoma, down around Dallas and parts southwest of Dallas. Seeing some stuff. Not as much here on the East Coast. Maybe not as much right in there. A little bit of this fair to moderate up here around the Great Lakes. That continues to kind of soak in here as we get around sunrise. Look at sunrise here. Now we're in the solid green here, so we're in that moderate Tropo here. I'm not expecting a whole lot for me here, honestly. We're looking at like Mobile, Tallahassee, Pensacola. That's the usual stuff. The stuff that just kind of gets in the way sometimes. So for me, I'm not expecting much, but you guys might have some good stuff up here in Oklahoma, Texas, down in the south parts of Texas. And then we kind of go through the rest of the week here as we kind of cool off a little bit. We get to Sunday night, Monday morning. Look at that push again here into Texas coming in from the Gulf. We've got a nice bit over here in parts of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, looking decent. That's moderate. So you're looking probably 150, 200 mile Tropo in here, somewhere in here. So nothing earth shattering, but some Tropo, something fun to play with, right? That's the key. It's something fun to DX because you maybe haven't had a whole lot of that. We get into Monday morning, it's starting to push in a bit more. You're starting to see this area over here start to build in. Keep an eye on this western half of the Gulf as we go over the next couple of days. This is where we're going to start seeing things really start to blossom as we get this heat that starts building in. But for right now, Stuart up your way around Michigan, into parts of Indiana, Ohio, into parts of even Pennsylvania. Again, 150, 200, maybe 300 mile Tropo for some folks. Probably not. Probably closer to 200 is what I would assume most of this is going to be. All right. Now we're looking at, this is Monday night into Tuesday morning. Now this is 1 o'clock Tuesday morning, UT Central Time. This is sunrise Tuesday morning. Seeing a little bit here into parts of that sunrise around, again, 7 a.m. Central. Parts of Indiana in through. This is nice duct right here. So if you're on this end of Oklahoma, this end over here in Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, you might get in some of that duct as it kind of kicks out the end of it. We've seen that happen here. All of South Carolina, most of North Carolina, on the eastern half at least, all of southeast Georgia, in almost the entire state of Florida, is in that kind of moderate to high strength Tropo. So now you're talking 250, maybe 300, maybe. And then this is starting to build in here. Again, keep an eye on this right here. We get to Tuesday afternoon. We're starting to see pink and orange and red down here in the Gulf. We're starting to see this area up in here develop in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, right here down in South Illinois, South Indiana. parts of just north of Memphis. That's continuing. Look at now, we're most of the whole central swath of the Midwest right there is in some at least moderate tropo. Ooh, look at that. Almost looks like a supercell, doesn't it? And then look at, we have pinks, we have grays now showing up in the Gulf Wednesday morning UTC. And now it starts. Again, this is Wednesday morning UTC time. Tuesday night, Wednesday morning around 1 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. So we're talking about Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We're beyond 3 days. We're beyond 3 days. So this is where Lloyd puts his little disclaimer asterisks and says, take it with a grain of salt, but watch. This is now 3 days of runs that I've seen this. Look what happens. We start seeing that orange push in, the red push in. Look at Texas. Texas. It starts to burn off on the day on Wednesday, but then we get into the evening, and we have some white here off the coast, like absolute white. We all had some white here on Wednesday as well, Wednesday morning, Tuesday night. And so that's, a lot of pink, a lot of red, some white, and some grays in there. Look at all that pink. This is Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Central Time. This is like 300, 400, 500, 600 mile tropo. That's what this is. This is, if I go over here and I look on the Gulf Caribbean, and I go to that Tuesday night, Wednesday. This is the kind of right here, Tuesday night around 1 a.m. This is me hearing Mexico. Down into Veracruz, Tamaulipas. Look at this. Look at this white and all this pink. Western Gulf. All of you. Robert, you should be pointing your antenna south Tuesday night. If this forecast holds, you should be pointing your forecast due south and looking for Mexico. 400, 500, 600 mile tropo. If this forecast holds. And that would be starting. That's around sunset. Maybe an hour or two after sunset through sunrise. Wednesday morning. So an hour or two after sunset on Tuesday, start looking. Don't expect anything yet. It's going to take some time to build in as that pushes in. But by the time we get to 1 a.m., and by the time we get to 7 a.m., it's still there. So there's if this forecast holds, you're going to see some stuff push. So be ready for it, my friends. Be ready. We are coming up here on top of the hour. And I do want to talk about meteor scatter, but I probably will save that for next week, actually. That and RDS. We'll save both of those topics for next week because we didn't get to them tonight. We want to do some top of the hour DX and then do some wrap up here, but of what we've been kind of hearing this week. But we'll save those two for next week, and all of our next week's going to be a doozy. We're probably going to go over our 3.5 hours next week. There's just so much to get to close out the season. So let's do a little bit of live DX. Some more. So we did IRC. This is National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org to get yourself a membership. We did IRCA, IRCOnline.org, NationalRadioClub.org as well. So there you go. Let's do a quick check of 1550 here. Let me actually change this over to this guy. Let's look at 1550 on our west wire and see if we have anything. This is the west. Did I change that yet? No. I have not changed that yet. Okay, well. Did I change it here? Nope. Okay. Let's see if we have anything on 1550 yet from Arizona coming in on the west wire. I think that's Baton Rouge. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Baton. I'm going to pull up a Kiwi out there in Arizona. Oh, they're just now getting the gray line's just now getting the Tucson. So they're still in daylight over there. So this is what Tucson's carrying right now. It's a public radio station, NPR. I'm going to throw them in my left ear. No, I'm going to throw them in my right ear. I'm going to throw mine in the left.
Cross-market environments. More information at bairdifference.com.
I feel like I have a little bit of an echo there. Now I'm not hearing it.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
Oh, they must have just changed their power. Yeah, they just changed their power. The Arizona Kiwi I was looking at, it just went from like a wide to a little narrow. Nah, I'm not going to hear him here. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Not tonight, at least. We'll get them. Let's go back down and see if the low end of the band is built up any at all. And let's go back to our south-facing CAS antenna here. So let's go back down to... Actually, do it this way. Boop, boop. So there's Radio Chan Santa Cruz, XECPR, down in Felipe Carrillo, Mexico. One of my more regular, consistent stations here in the Mandeville area. So there you go. Yeah, band's down quite a bit here as well, especially with all the lightning crashes. Let's take a quick gander at the old FM side of things. See if we have anything coming in. And we'll hit that play button. There we go. And I'm just going to check for any hints of tropo. There's a couple of frequencies that I check just to see if anything's coming in. We're going to start with 92.1 because that's an open frequency. It's also where we have a station over in Mobile, 92 Zoo. That's not 92 Zoo. That's probably Power 92, which is a religious station over in west part of Louisiana. So that is a little bit of tropo that's coming in right there. Absolutely, that's tropo. Light tropo, but it's tropo. This is probably Villa Platte, Louisiana. KVPI. There's also a rock station that's also Louisiana. So the rock station is actually, it's in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. I forgot about that. It's not Louisiana. It's in Mississippi. There's a classic hit station, though, that's in Louisiana, KVPI Villa Platte. That could be them. The talk station... That's probably Panama City, WFLA, or actually WPAP. Let's look at our autologger map here just to see what's coming in. So pretty localized, not a ton. This is off the exact same antenna that we're listening to right now, by the way. So this FM receiver and this auto map are the exact same antenna, both on TEF radios. So this KVPI is possibly who we now are hearing. They were coming in this morning. I would say that's probably who that is. Actually, that could be rock. It could be Ocean Springs. Because Ocean Springs is like right here. There's Ocean Springs and Biloxi. So it's like right there. So it could be Villa Platte, it could be Ocean Springs we're hearing with the rock. Another open frequency or tropo beacon that I look at, 94.5, KSMB in Lafayette's there. I'm not hearing anything there. So my west doesn't look too good. 102.7 is WXBM in Milton, Florida. I don't hear them. So the east it's not going that far east yet. They're there. They're a country station. They're super weak, though. Not 92. 90. That's Rustley. That's Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. That's a meet. Let me 98.1 Baton Rouge. So we're getting some of that like in that very like light, that fair Tropo, right? We're getting like that 150 mile Tropo right now. It's Tropo scatter. It's just a bit of a boost to signals that are either there but not usually as strong, or they're fringe and now they're coming in, right? That's what we're getting right now, is a little bit of that kind of 100 and 150 mile Tropo scatter boost. Nothing significant. Now that's on the 65-foot high omnidirectional. Let's take a look at our big boy here. This is the what? Wait, what? Hold on. Let me take this. That's new. Okay, they're not coming in on that one. I think I know what's up. Are they coming in on the headless? No, okay. That's okay. I have to restart the OG server. That's what that is. It said 87.7. That was not 87.7. That was probably, if anything, 90? Yeah. That was WWOZ. I was over here going, who has got the reggae on 87.7? That's new. That got me kind of a little bit excited there for a second. But also a little bit worried, because that can be a fun frequency, but if that was a local, then not so much fun. All right, so next week we're going to take a look at RDS. We're going to talk about kind of what it is. We're going to talk about how it can be helpful for you, but what you have to kind of keep in mind about RDS at the same time, because it can be kind of a double-edged sword. Sometimes you can see things that throw you off the trail of the actual DX. We're going to talk about meteor scatter a little bit. I know we're about to head in the sporadic E season. We're going to talk about meteor scatter a little bit, because it can be helpful in the summertime to getting some of those days where maybe the E-skip isn't popping, especially as we get into like later July, as E-ski season is starting to fall down. We get into late July into August. That's when the Perseid starts ramping up. And so we're going to talk about that so you can be ready for that when that does happen. And then also, obviously, next week, it's the pregame, right? We're pre-gaming sporadic E season. It's May 1st next week. And so it's the official start of the sporadic E season is next week. So we're going to pregame it. We're going to have a good time. We're going to look at the new sporadic E dashboard so we can really dive into the data and see sporadic E, and like I said before, in a way you've never seen it before. I promise you. Our patrons know. They've been playing with it now for a couple of weeks. We're also going to launch the Summer of DX Challenge with all the stuff that you already know about the Summer of DX, but some new stuff sprinkled in to give it a little bit of lagniappe, a little bit of some spice, a little bit of extra flavor for you. We're going to throw some extra stuff there this year, so you'll definitely want to be here next week to check that out. If you can't, make sure you at least check out the replay. For our patrons, patreon.com/DXCentral. Like I said, they've been playing with this new dashboard for a couple of weeks, and they're going to get the heads up before anyone else does about the cool stuff coming in the Summer of DX Challenge. As a matter of fact, there's going to be an ongoing thing that happens during the Summer of DX Challenge all summer long. Our patrons are going to get the inside track on that. Everyone else will still get to do it and be part of this little extra thing that we're doing. But the patrons, they're going to get the inside track. They're going to know about it first. So, again, patreon.com/DXCentral would definitely, if you want to be part of that crew in Studio C, that's where you go to do that. I'm also going to be working on some videos this summer, things like that, once we get the shack put back together. I'll be putting some videos together and things like that. So all of our videos, patrons get them first. New podcast episodes, patrons will get them first. All that. So to our sponsors, the IRCA, International Radio Club America, IRCAonline.org, the National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org, and to the Spectrum Monitor magazine, thespectrummonitor.com. For our sponsors, thank you so much for your support, and we appreciate you here with another season with us here as well, here on DX Central Live. So, one more episode left. Next week, it's the pregame, it's the Sporadic E pregame show, and we're going to go out there and we're going to have a good time next Friday night and talk about Sporadic E and FM and all the cool stuff that you can hear. So make sure you're here next week. If you're not able to join us next week, definitely you'll want to watch that replay because that Summer DX Challenge stuff is going to be tasty. I promise you that. You're going to want to be part of that. So take care, my friends. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, take care. Best of DX 73.
This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.